Welcome to Conversational Currency. Communication is a superpower, ladies and gentlemen, and conversational currency examines the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era told through the lens of today's business and thought leaders. Now, I'm your host, Shadidi Laser, and through the story of our guests and current events, we answer the question, if you were able to say the right words in the right moments to every man or woman in a business setting, how different would life be? Now, first things first, success starts with seizing opportunity. And right now is your chance to grab the digital assets execution plan, which is your step-by-step guide to package your skills and create digital assets to escape the time for money trap. Your next step is to browse mrshadi.com/assets and claim your free plan. Now, in this exclusive conversation, you will learn how to profit from emergencies through a little known career path that may change your life if you listen closely. My guest is playing the game at a high level and has leveraged his experience during this time to be able to work with dozens of assignments and thousands of claims. He has packaged his experience into a new course, a new learning experience, and it's called The Roadmap to Becoming an Independent Insurance Adjuster, which has created quite a buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a warm conversational currency welcome to Stephen Storey. How are you, Stephen?
What's up, everybody? Shadida, I appreciate that intro, man. That was really good. I couldn't have did it better myself, man. And to everybody out there, I hope that you get some education from this conversation. You don't have to buy my course, but I at least want you to know about this industry and know how it changed my life and how it changed other people's lives and how we do our day-to-day business.
Now, let's go into this world. Now, independent insurance, the industry itself has been around for over 90 years. Now, what was the turning point that made you think that independent insurance adjusting was the path for you?
All right, so I was not new to the insurance industry. I got into the insurance industry when I was still in college. So about 12 years ago, I got my first insurance license as an agent, just selling property and casualty insurance, selling, car insurance and home insurance. Then I went into the bail bonding industry, which is still in the insurance space. You're still licensed by the Department of Insurance. And so I was already, at that point, I got open to the idea of doing different things within the insurance industry. And so 5 years ago, my mother gets into the business of insurance adjusting, independent insurance adjusting. And I didn't think too much of it. I didn't really want to do it. And then I heard how much she was getting a week. Like, she let me listen to her bank account deposit. And I got licensed 30 days after that. And that was it. It was, now granted, obviously it wasn't all about the money, but at that time I needed money. So I was money focused at that time, money driven. Now, when it's happened since then, I've been able to help thousands of people get their cars back in order, get their homes back in order, and go ahead and get their lives back in order as well. So it's not just about the money, but the money was a huge motivator for
me. Okay, now, at the time of this conversation, this broadcast, many industries have been torn apart and redefined at some levels due to COVID. Now, for those who are tuning in and their interest is said 30 days later. And the question is, are we expected to work remote or to be bound to an office? Give us an idea of how the day-to-day work geography is set up.
Okay, so again, at the time of this, it's November 23rd, 2020. So I don't know when you're watching this, but we, we have not been normal in our industry for the last 6 or 7 months, 8 months, maybe, just like everybody else. Now, with that being said, some people are working in an office, depending on the state and depending on the company. Some people are working remote, depending on the state and depending on the company. So just like in normal times for us, we have many different options on how we can work. Same rules apply now. Okay, so a lot of it's going to have to be based on what licenses do you have, what's your availability, and are you eligible to work in these places where you can work remote or work in an office? Okay, and then do you want to do that?
Okay, so now in my family tree, my mom is a grant writer, so that's a magic trick that I've had in my back pocket for my entire adult life. Now, with your mom also being in this field and kind of giving you the introduction, my question is, what do you feel is some of the shortcuts that you learned that may have saved you time from having a parent that's active in the industry?
Well, this is something I learned back when I was 20, 21, 22 is the boring industries have a lot of money in them
Hmm.
and nobody wants to do it. So it's not as much competition. Like when I was in bail bonding, nobody wanted to be a bail bond, but bail bondsman coming out of college. When I was in insurance sales, nobody wanted to be in insurance sales coming out of college. But if you came out of college at 21, 22, going in to sell insurance, you probably been making 60, 70K within the first 2 years. I know people that's 10, 12 years out of college and they're just getting this to 60 or 70K but in their career field,
Mm-hmm.
And so what I found is people don't like doing dirty jobs or jobs that don't have a lot of luster to the name, right? When I tell people I'm an insurance adjuster, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. They don't think anything of it. But if I say, hey, I'm a lawyer, I'm a surgeon, they're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. But I didn't have to go into debt to be an insurance adjuster or independent adjuster. All I had to do was get certified. Now keep in mind, guys, I'm oversimplifying this for the sake of this conversation. I got licensed. I bought some more licenses. I got a couple certifications, and I applied myself, and I was able to start working. I probably spent less than $1,000 on all the things required for me to start working in this business, and I made that back in the first 3 days, 4 days of me working. So now is my experience a normal experience? For the most part, yes, as far as income is concerned. But it requires a level of consistency and persistence. And that's what's going to keep you in the business.
Now, interesting. Now, with this particular field, as with many others, relationships are a form of currency, and networking is definitely a superpower that many insurance adjusters need to have. Can you take us into how networking and how building that power circle of connections helps for insurance adjusters to be more successful in their field?
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll answer that for you. I'll give you an example. So at this point, I've worked 20 different assignments. And I'm going to use industry lingo. So it's deployments. I've been on about 20, 21 deployments now in the last 4.5 years. Every time I'm on a deployment, I'm looking for the people who are the easiest to work with as far as their personality. And I'm looking at people who handle claims well. I'm going to go eat dinner with them. I'm going to go to breakfast with them. We're going to go out on the weekends together. We're going to spend time together while we're working, because normally insurance adjusters work between 50 to 70 hours a week, just depending on the assignment, right? So if this is a person I'm going to be with all the time, I'm going to learn from that person. And the thing about our business is a good adjuster could be a manager on the next deployment. And even if they're not a manager, they can still help you get hired. Hey, Steve, man, I really enjoy working with you back in Denver. Hey, we got a job out here in Florida. I just got hired. I can tell the hiring manager that they can hire you too. You want to come? Yeah, I want to come. All right, thanks, man. I get a call 20 minutes later. Hey, John just he recommended you, and I get an interview that right there on the spot. I get the job.
Very interesting. Now, what people want to know, and in many cases, people live vicariously through, let's say, your social media updates, and they want to know, this is what they want to know. How do they go from being an insurance adjuster, and at what point do they, let's say, start to enjoy that geo arbitrage where they can take their income and start to expand to other countries? And can you give us some insight, at, let's say, a high level of at what point they grow to and that starts to happen?
I'm gonna answer that question with a few other explanations, okay? Because there's a few things there.
Take your
now,
time.
in this business, well, a normal job, you're gonna work 12 months a year, you get 1 week or 2 weeks of vacation. This business does not work in that way. More than likely, you're gonna work anywhere from if you're good, you're gonna work anywhere from 6 to 12 months a year. If you're working at 11 or 12, you're really good. And you also really focus, because most people can't handle working 11 or 12 months of insurance adjusting. They usually do anywhere from 8 to 9 months, and they'll take 3 to 4 months off. Now, with that being said, if you're doing anywhere over $7,000 to $8,000 a month in the insurance adjusting business, and you're taking care of your money, because this is important, guys, you can't live like you're making $8,000 every month if you know you're going to be off for 4 months. So you got to take care of your money. Now, you've taken care of your money. Now you got 4 months off. What do? This is when you can start traveling. You go to places like Costa Rica or Brazil or Ecuador or Panama, like Panama and Central America, Panama. And I know adjusters who've done that. I know adjusters who live in Canada, who go to Europe part-time. And you have to come in. Now, everybody's idea of fun or freedom is not travel. But I know many adjusters through the years who have bought properties in other countries. They live in those properties when they're not on a deployment. They might weather out of time when they're not working for 6 months in another country, and they still have some money left over. So because we don't have time freedom while we're working, when we're not working, we have all the freedom because we get to work. We don't have to work for 3 or 4 months as long as we're taking care of our money.
That's some very interesting insight. So from, let's say, a tax perspective or just a general, would a insurance adjuster, for those who are tuning in and they're wondering how to go from where they are to where they need to be, would they be classified as, let's say, a 1099? Is it a corp-to-corp arrangement, or are they a full-time employee to a given firm or agency?
It all depends, guys. It's a lot of, and I don't like giving these kind of answers, but it's just the truth. Some deployments, you're going to be a 1099 employee, okay? Some you will be a W-2 full-time employee of the what we call the IA firm, independent adjusting firm, which is basically like a staffing agency for independent adjusters. They only work with independent adjusters, getting them contracted to insurance carriers like Allstate or State Farm, Progressive, Liberty Mutual, okay? And if y'all don't understand that, just send me a message. I'll explain all that to you. Now, with that being said, you can form an LLC and have your LLC be paid by an IA firm. Okay. So you have some options there, but there's a big range there of ways you can do this. You can be a W-2 employee, be a 1099, you can have them pay your business. Okay.
Okay. So when we talk about, let's say, restrictions or guidelines and specific mandates for this industry, for someone who may be viewing this and they're already, let's say, established as an LLC, and they listen to you explain it and they say, well, I want to go in this direction. Are there any restrictions on, let's say, having other businesses and becoming an insurance adjuster, or is it free reign? And as long as you work, then your other time is up to you?
All right. So there are 50 different states, and those 50 states, like 30 something of those states are licensed states, guys. I want you to go to your department, your state's Department of Insurance, and find that out for sure. Okay. Because I don't want you saying, well, Steve said I could. No, wait, just Google Florida Department of Insurance, Texas Department of Insurance, and see what your state's guidelines are, because states update their laws. I don't know when you're watching this video, you could be watching a year from now. Go to your state's Department of Insurance and find out for sure. With that being said, if you have a felony or if you've been convicted of some things, you also need to check your state's Department of Insurance as well. You may not be eligible to be an independent insurance adjuster. Okay, because they do background checks. You will get a background check every deployment. So if you have specifically felonies involving moral turpitude, like fraud, stealing, robbery, things like that, you're not going to be an independent insurance adjuster. Okay. Now, other types of crimes, whether like drug-related crimes, DUI, stuff like that, you're going to have a check out your state's Department of Insurance. Guys, go to Google, type your state name, Department of Insurance, and go look at that requirement. Okay. The next thing is, if you are what's called an insurance, if you are an agent or a producer, you need to check with your state's Department of Insurance as well, because some states frown upon, not just states, but some carriers, which would be, again, like an Allstate or a State Farm, they frown upon people selling insurance and adjusting insurance at the same time. So they don't want you to have both of those licenses active. All right, I've seen people get fired because of those things. Okay.
How would you say insurance adjusting has changed your life for the better?
Man, look, when you have money, you got options. All right. And when you don't have any money, you don't have any options at all. Like, if you got $2, you're eating a cup of noodles tonight. You know, like, you just don't have those kind of options. And so for me, I was struggling as a personal trainer. I was trying to make it happen. It wasn't happening for me. I was late on my rent, about to get evicted. And I said, man, I'm about to buy. I was already a licensed adjuster at that time, but I only had one license. If you only got one license, guys, listen, I'm about to tell you, you got to get some more. So I spent the rest of my rent money. Don't do that. But I spent the rest of my rent money. I took a risk and I bought 5 more licenses. And those 5 more licenses, which a lot, at that point I had 6, qualified me for a deployment. And then I started working. And then it was like, all right, I caught up on my rent. And then it was, okay, I can start to get out of debt again and start to have a life again. And then I started traveling. And 3 deployments later, oh man, I'm like, wow, okay, I got another apartment now. It's nicer, and I'm able to help my family, help my sister get through chiropractic school. And my other sister was still in college. And, you know, being able to do those types of things for my family while I was still a young man really meant a lot to me. And like, now my grandma, she's older. Hey, Steve, I need $500. Boom, let's go. That's not a problem for me. And I was able to do that without having to start a business or take a lot of risk in the stock market or sell a bunch of stuff. I didn't have to do any of that, you know? And so for me, like, and this job is stressful at times. Don't get me wrong now. This ain't a cakewalk. But for me, what it has done for me and my family, because my mother is in the business still too. And so, you know, as she's in her 60s now, and she's still making a very strong income, you know? And so for both of us to have that type of income, whenever our family has problems financially, we can always be there to help out.
It's very important. It's very important. Family is the first business. For those of you who are just tuning in, you are watching Conversational Currency, and we're having a discussion on the world of insurance adjusting from an independent standpoint with our featured guest expert, Stephen Storey. Now, take us through the course. Take us through the roadmap to becoming an independent insurance adjuster. Who is it for? And take us into some of the benefits that our audience will receive once they take the next step.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go with that last question first. So who is this course for? All right. This is going to be for anybody that wants to have a change in career, anybody that might have an entrepreneurial mind or a hustler's mindset, but you might have faced some difficulties in capitalizing your businesses, things like that. You can apply your entrepreneurial mind to this business. You are independent. So whenever you don't want to work, you don't have to work. Whenever you want to work, you start looking for work, you'll get a job. Now, getting a job is not guaranteed, okay? But that's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes in now. You can be young doing this. You can be older. As long as you are a literate English speaker and you can type and you can talk, you can do this job. If you have some, you got to put some effort in there behind it, right? So it's not a young man's game or older man's game. It's not just for women. It's not just for men. It's not just for single people. I know married people who do this, people with children. It can be for everybody because there's so many niches in this business. If you're more of an outdoorsy person, you can be a field adjuster and work outside alone and go inspect properties all day. If you like cars, you can be an auto adjuster and look at cars all day. If you're a person who has a growing family, you can find a way to work at home. You don't have to leave your children. If you're a person like me who likes to travel, you can travel all across North America working as a field adjuster or a desk adjuster, or there's many different options there, right? So it is a catch-all type of industry, but you got to be a focused person. You got to pay attention to detail, and you got to be able to put the effort in there. If you can do all that, this job, this business is for you, and you can have some success in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, bit.ly/IA course 2021. That is bit.ly/IA course 2021. When you go into the course, here's what you'll receive. You'll receive a list of over 120 insurance adjusting firms. This will increase your opportunities to get your first or next assignment. You will receive a walkthrough, not one slide, not 2 slides, not 20 slides, but 50 slides, 50 slides with audio narration explaining the insurance adjusting industry and how you can go from where you are viewing this broadcast to becoming a major player within the industry. You will receive a step-by-step guide to being licensed and getting your first deployment. So you won't have to figure it out on your own. Stephen will guide you through step-by-step, and the accountability part of it, where there's exercises that you will complete after each and every module. Now, if you want to become a full-time adjuster, or if you are the person who has that hustler's mindset and mentality, becoming an insurance adjuster will not only open your mind to new possibilities, but will allow you the freedom and flexibility to travel and to provide for your family on a whole new level. So go to bit.ly/IA course 2021. Now, you had something to offer to a few people if they send you a DM, correct?
Correct. All right, guys. So look, my name on Twitter is at Stephen Storey, STEPHENSTOREY. Today's date is November 23rd, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So look,
24.
I'm sorry, 24. So the first 3 people who DM me on Twitter, November 24, 2020, we're going to get a free consult. It's a 45-minute consult with me. But you got to purchase the course, okay? Because this consult means nothing if you don't have the course to go with it. I'll do a full strategy session with you from how we go from the course and walking you through, let's get to our next steps of getting licensed and getting deployed and see how we can strategize for your career. Okay, so I did one of these with a young lady. The first day I started doing consulting with the course, she got hired the same week, working from home after we did our consult. So it works, guys. I've been helping people get into the business for the last 4 years. Now I'm doing it formally. Okay, I'm teaching people formally, but I've been doing this since I've been getting people into the business since I got in, like a few months after I got in. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, Shadi, was not only are you getting 50 slides, guys, these aren't slides filled with fluff. All right, this is exactly what you need, nothing else. Okay, I didn't put anything extra in there that you don't need to fill up the space. All right, I might tell a couple stories, but that's it. I'm giving you straight facts, slide to slide to slide. This is not a motivational slide course. I'm not gonna be pumping your head up and everything like that. I'm gonna tell you, hey, look, module 1, you're doing this. Module 2, we do this. Don't go to module 3 until you finish module 2's exercises. And some of these exercises take some time, guys. It's not a 20-minute thing. Some of these things are gonna take you a couple days. Some of these things will require you to get licensed before you can go to the next module. So keep that in mind as you go about purchasing this. But Also, guys, I'm always here to help. So even if you have questions, you don't got to pay me any extra. Hey, Steve, what about this? My state said this, or what about that? I'm answering questions daily, and I'm here to help you.
Now, let's make this offer a bit more sweeter in that relationships in your network are a essential part of success as an independent insurance adjuster, as Stephen has mentioned. Now, what I'm going to provide for you is a step-by-step, play-for-play walkthrough on how to build your six-figure network. And that is accomplished through the Partnership Profits Formula course, which is 14 video modules, along with an execution plan and checklist of how I have built the most prominent African American joint venture network on the East Coast of the United States, and am responsible for brokering dozens of partnership and licensing deals. If you're going to be successful, you need to invest in your network, and you no longer have to guess. You no longer have to put yourself down for being awkward. Now you have the tools along with Stephen's course. And if you take action and you send that DM, if you're one of the first three, you get a 45-minute session. But in order to do that, you must go to bit.ly/IA course 2021. Any final thoughts for the audience, Stephen?
Well, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to work when you don't want to work. When you are working, you're gonna make a strong income. When you're finished working, you're done. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do any extra work at home. You don't have to do any of that. This business has changed so many lives for so many people through the years, and it can change yours if you want it to. Okay, if you want to put some effort in, but it's real. It can. I've seen people go from just being on my Twitter timeline to, hey, they own it. I have guys that are on the timeline that have worked with me since they've been licensed and been on deployments with me in the last year or two. So it's possible, guys. This is not some pie in the sky thing. It's a job. It's a job, and it's an industry that's been around for a very long time, and it's based around the weather. As you know, guys, if you've been watching the Weather Channel, we have four major hurricanes hit the United States this year. And if you know anything about global warming, it's going to keep happening. So this business is here to stay, guys. So, and like I said, I'm here to help y'all. Any questions y'all have, you just want more clarity about what insurance adjusting is, feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter, okay?
What we have covered, ladies and gentlemen, is a walkthrough of an industry that you may not have known about, but now every time the weather gets a bit crazy, you have to wonder who is profiting. And so the great profits in life come through opportunities. And now the next step for you is to dive into the course, take advantage of this opportunity, and gain additional income, stability during this time through independent insurance adjusting. On behalf of Stephen Storey, I'm Shadidi Laser, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to tune in with us. And for that, we appreciate you. Tune in to the next episode of Conversational Currency. Thank you very much for tuning in.